All right, so we are back with the finals. We're going to be watching gozuuu and we're going to be watching johnkkez. But before we do that, we want to clarify the point structure. Anyone who knows me knows I don't read anything. And so we wanted to clarify that there are 10 winners of the invitational, but and six wildcard spots. And six wildcard spots would go to the sixth highest people who haven't already qualified. So if you're looking at the leaderboard right now, Game Gromp, Stormguard, Croge, the Bergen, Apple Chips, and Newer Shadow would all qualify. Now, if
Qualify
goes
for the invitational.
qualify for the
So
invitational,
this is how the invitational will be built.
be the 10 winners and those six people. Now, if gozuuu wins today, okay, it's not the win doesn't automatically go to johnkkez. What's going to happen is it's going to open up a new wildcard spot. So if that is what happens and gozuuu wins and the points don't change, but of course they're going to change, Newer Shadow and a boss would now be qualified for the qualifier. So it opens up an additional wildcard spot. So that is how it's going to work. And of course, johnkkez, regardless, is going to get a bunch of points. So, and here is johnkkez's deck. So let's compare it to, let's look at it with the lens of how we've seen Marvin the Imp a couple of times on stream. What's different?
Big difference is the presence of the non-top end, the lack of the presence of the non-top end units. So no Grodov Stranger, no Moonstone Vanguard. We do see Furious Magnaventress, but this is a much more traditional build of the Relic package with some of the ramp spells. You see johnkkez favors New Beginning over Enter the Monastery by a slight margin. And has a little bit more interaction. We don't see Defiance in johnkkez's list, but we have Desert Marshal,
which Mark claims is not a unit. Yeah, so it's a Defiance and not a
pseudo Defiance.
Yeah. That looks like the major differences.
The markets are also different.
They're pretty similar actually, but Martyr's Chain.
Right? Martyr's Chains is the big difference.
Martyr's Chain is the big difference. So their top end's coming out of the market. And then here's another look at gozuuu's deck as well as they're getting set up. You saw it do busted things just a minute ago. So similar game plan is it's an aggro deck. I'm just going to do aggro things. I think what we saw is if gozuuu can kind of, predict when the sweepers are going to come and keep the key cards that allow them to rebuild, you've got a good shot.
I think the matchup changes the way that gozuuu will want to play, would be my guess, is that you're actually going to look to see the much more aggressive curve and being willing to be a little more all in and hope that your torch will be a little more reach. Knowing there's not Defiance means you could, in the blind, hit a Defiance for an extra 3 damage. Because I don't think the way that gozuuu's deck grinds against mid-range decks will be as effective against Cumbrae Relics.
So here are the opening hands. Looks like gozuuu kept their hand. johnkkez is deciding. I don't think you keep. You have a turn 4 play, but nothing else.
You have a turn 3 too.
Well, I mean, a turn 3 that doesn't affect the.
But if you draw power, Gemstone gets you to your.
Gets you to your sweeper, on turn 4. I don't know. I wouldn't feel great. I mean, I think you want the equalize.
I defer to you as the equalize player. I'll take your mulligan take, and johnkkez agrees with you.
Okay. Yeah, I think you keep. Still can't play Diana until turn 4.
We're gonna double check it. This is game 1.
Yes.
So it's the slate is clean. So there's a small error on the graphic. Don't worry about it. It's game 1 here. We'll keep you on track.
There we can see the premature builder's decree. Slow down, and it hit.
Yeah.
Now he's going to play the 2 1/1s in response, right? Yeah. Yeah, we're just going to go in.
Yeah. And this is, in thinking about the way that Relics plays against other aggro decks. I know Yetis is often a challenging deck for Relics, and so it makes sense that a deck trying to be more all in is going to be able to press the advantage more than in a comparable way to Yetis, even if we're not talking about specifically Yetis here.
I mean, this is going to be. You've got to find the sweeper off the top.
Is this almost lethal? I don't even know if the sweeper is good enough because you bargain at
Double.
some point here.
Yep.
He's counting now.
6, 9.
I think this is lethal.
You play both, it is. Right. And okay, game 1. What do you do as johnkkez in this situation? Okay, you just saw that happen. You know you can't keep a hand where you're not having an impactful turn 2 or 3 play.
Hope you can play Equalize.
Well, even with these decks, you can't play Equalize until turn 4 because they're not playing the symbols.
I see.
So the only way you can get away with the early Equalize is on the symbols.
Sounds like we need our pseudo Defiance Desert Marshal.
Yeah. Or could we get some Defiances into our deck? Is anyone checking?
Desert. I think if that given that it's probably your plan has to be Desert Marshal into Sabretooth or the 2-drop ramp spell into Sabretooth.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way forward.
Well, look at that. What do we see? John called it. That's what johnkkez kept. We don't know if it was the first look or the second look.
Gozuuu, though. Interesting. Oh no, he kept. Gozuuu kept. There are gonna be some fireworks here.
Firework. Oh, did you keep that on top for the armor?
Probably.
Interesting. I think you want to pitch it. I want to get to a sweeper.
It does give you a little bit of life. But you're right. It's maybe a little bit suspicious.
It's 1 card away from getting to a sweeper, which you're going to need.
So here, Gozuuu likely just takes the trade. You're going to get in for 4. You lose Kazuo, and that's fine.
There's an option to save it if you want. Like, there's a world where you just... Yeah.
I guess I'm being biased because I know that the Sabretooth is in hand. But I think you need the power to get through the Sabretooth.
Yep, the armor, you got to play it. Oh, scout. Scout's, yeah, I didn't see the scout. That's fair. Got to go bottom. So 4, 5, 6, dasher, pumped up.
Lethal?
Oh, it's a pumped up dasher. Brutal.
Not quite lethal. It's 1 off. But I don't think
Armor.
gives you
Stun.
3. You're gonna take
Okay.
4. Okay.
That's good. Armor ended up being useful there.
Yeah.
But I would still argue it keeps you 1 card away from whatever you're
That's
going to get to.
probably true.
Get by this turn.
I think you're just A-space land.
Are you in double torch land and A space?
Good.
Because
Oh, that double torch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
next turn you're going to get your 6/5 back off.
And you do get to play your emblem and make a guy. Or a unit.
Gotta have a sweeper.
We're gonna go to 9 and chump block. I don't think you can risk the speaking circle.
I roll. Yeah. This is what I like to see. Yeah. Equalize. Come on.
Saloon Massacre. Oh, I didn't see it. What'd you see?
I think it was reshape.
Aegis? Not
Protect.
good enough.
Come on. Gain a
Goes
life.
to 9. 9's not
enough.
good enough.
Not enough.
Mashed.
Man. Well, I want to point out that Mark loved this deck from the very beginning. It was the first deck he saw when he saw the list and was like, this is cool. So there it is, a quick 2-0. Gozuuu, congratulations on your second T&E victory. And congratulations to johnkkez, who's going to be receiving $30 as well and collecting a bunch of points and moving up on the leaderboard. Because now there are 6 wildcard spots. So those points are even more important now.
So get your 5 tournaments in, because you can play as many TNEs as you want, but it's your best 5 results that count towards your point total at the end of the season.
Mark, looking back on the event today, what stood out to you? What did you find interesting or something you're going to remember?
I mean, the gozuuu finding the game 2 win against Derek Davis was really impressive. I also really enjoyed watching the Mono Fire deck, the Abbas's Dragons deck. I thought that deck also found a really interesting line to push lethal against the Argenport deck that we saw on stream. But yeah, it looks like Relics is still a really viable deck to play. So if you're planning on playing Throne, have a plan for Relics.
Absolutely. And for me as well, that first game of the top 4 where we were just we both would have scooped and walked away and moved in the game 2. Watching Gozuuu play that and navigate that was really awesome. So again, extra congratulations. We want to thank the sponsors of Tuesday Night Eternal. We want to thank Gibbon, Cassandrith, The Misplay, and somewhere up there in his castle in the sky, our benevolent overlord, Telemachus, creator of the Tuesday Night Eternal.
Trevor, as
on
we
Saturdays,
know it.
Trevor, in some circles. We also want to thank SRFS for doing the production today. Everything you're seeing on the screen is the result of his hard work, and Canada for having everything run smoothly behind the scenes. Thank you so much for your dedication and your time to the Eternal community. You can find Mark and I in the Misplay Discord, where we sometimes play Eternal.
We also play other things. So
Elden Ring,
Lost Ark, is that still a thing?
Lost Ark, nah, it's not still a thing. So thank you very much. The next Tuesday Night Eternal is as they Oscar us out, right? That was like essentially playing the music. They're
Zing.
like, guys, we're done. Okay, we're sorry. We come back in the focus. The next Tuesday Night Eternal is next week on May 14th. It is Throne. I bet we're going to see some of these decks. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next week on Tuesday Night Eternal on Saturdays.